All right, I'm with James Wooton, who was literally the very first person to sign up to our Side Hustle Yourself to a New Career course. I was delighted when he got in touch, and we had a couple of calls, and you were very quick to sign up to the course, James. And yeah, I'm keen to sort of hear how you're getting on. Maybe we could just briefly start with if you can cast your memory back, why did you sign up to the course in the first place?
Well, it seems like quite a long time ago now. It was, I think, I believe it was 2021 when I first signed up for the course. At the time, it was just after COVID, and I was a bit lost in the sort of corporate world or the job I was in at the time. And I was looking to develop and build a business that I could eventually work with my two children. Um, I also was a bit worried about money at the time, so I wanted to have a comfort of that second income coming in. So yeah, that's pretty much the basis of why I wanted to develop a side hustle.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot. And so, what was your initial idea? What did you want to build by way of side hustle initially?
Well, I always had an idea to move into property. So the idea for me was to build a property portfolio. Now I was very inexperienced at the time. I didn't really know what I was doing or what I needed to do to get there. So the ability to speak to you and just to develop some ideas of how I could take the next steps into doing that was a really big help.
Brilliant, brilliant. And two boys you have, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I had two boys who were quite young at the time. They're teenagers now.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's been pretty good.
So obviously it was a while ago that you did the course, and we caught up recently, and I was delighted to hear that it sounds like you've actually made some incredible progress with property development, that sort of thing. Would you be kind enough to just share sort of what you have done in that space alongside your day job, please?
Yeah, so it wasn't as I expected to do it. The market was a bit turbulent at the time, but it it still worked out in a way that was quite successful for me. The idea initially was to create a rental portfolio. Now that didn't necessarily happen, but during the process of developing the side hustle, I found I was quite good at developing properties for sale. So I would buy property at a cheaper rate than it would generally be for sale for that was in a state of disrepair. I would undertake the refurbishment and then I would then sell that property for a profit basically. Now I've done that three times. Well, I'm on my third property now, so it's going pretty well. It's a bit slow, but it takes a bit longer than the rental market. But yeah, I'm really happy with how things have gone.
Brilliant, brilliant. And what's the sort of plan going forward? More of the same, just keep progressing. Um, yeah, what's your current thinking, sort of maybe for the next 5 or even 10 years? Have you got a plan in that regard?
Yeah, I have. So the idea is to keep doing what I'm doing, but then use the seed money from that refurbishment business to then go into the rental market. So I've got quite a big strategy of how I'm going to build over the next 5 years, as in the number of properties that I need to hit a X amount of profit margin. And my oldest son's now 17. So when he turns 18, I want him to start to move into the business and start taking a big lead in that.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Congratulations, mate. That sounds incredible. Um, is your eldest son, excited about sort of going into that line of work?
But he's 17. I don't think he gets excited about much, but he's quite interested in business. Yeah, it's a hard one. I mean, he's going off to university soon as well. But so the idea is that he's going to do this part time, and alongside me, who's also doing a part time. Um, and also we'll probably bring in another member of staff to assist. as we go along.
Brilliant, brilliant. And I'm guessing you haven't sort of done it all on your own. You've maybe sort of reached out to a number of different people who have helped you along the way. Maybe you've signed up to other courses, things like that. Um, I'm just wondering, you hopefully remember some of the terms like side hustle magnets, success team members, that sort of thing. Were the lessons and the teachings from the course quite useful in progressing the side hustle?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the biggest key factors I would say in the success of the business was building on the network that I already had, and um, being able to understand that I can leverage on other people that already have the skills and knowledge where I'm like. So that was a really, really big help, and it was a really big part of the success of the business.
Brilliant. Glad to hear it. And then just sort of, if you can cast your mind back to, the decision making to actually sign up in the first instance. Do you recall what it was that convinced you to sign up?
I remember we had a fair few conversations beforehand, Pete, and I was a bit cautious. I'm generally a cautious person, but I think after a few calls, there was the confidence that you gave me to move forward, and you really instilled that confidence in me. And that was really one of the factors, or the biggest factor, really, in signing up for the course. I think to begin with, I was probably lacking in a bit of confidence in what I was going to do, especially because it wasn't an area that I had existing skills and knowledge in. But really, you instilled in that me that I did have the abilities, although they weren't necessarily what you would align with the abilities at the time, but the abilities I had in other areas could be then moved across into this area.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thanks a lot, mate. So we'll wrap up here, James, with a couple more questions. Would you recommend the course to other people?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great course. For me, it was about, yeah, as I say, the confidence, but also actionable things. So I'm a big procrastinator, unfortunately. So to really about the urgency of the actions, and putting things into place and putting a plan into place and making sure that, yeah, being held accountable as well. That's a pretty big part of it.
Brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, it's very action and results oriented. I'm glad you found that very useful. Finally, then, what kind of person do you think should sign up to the course going forward?
I would say anybody that's been thinking about doing a business, but maybe doesn't have the confidence to start it and just needs that little bit of a push. Just someone that's been thinking about it for a long time, and maybe, yeah, not have the urgency to push it on for whatever reason.
Got it. Brilliant. Well, thanks so much, James, and genuinely just absolutely delighted to learn that you've cracked on with it. Your original plan, it didn't quite go necessarily the way you initially envisaged it, but there you are. I remember you saying you wanted to build a nest egg for your sons, and your 17, your eldest, now 17, is going to be moving into that side hustle business, which is on the up, and you got big plans going forward. So congrats, mate. Well done. And
Thanks so much, Pete.
yeah, any other final comments for anyone sort of watching this who's sort of maybe on the fence a little bit? Um, Anything else you'd like to share? On this quick chat that you think will be useful for them. In terms of signing up to the course, making that decision to pull the trigger.
I would just say that sometimes people are their own worst enemy, and if you're thinking about doing the course and it's how do I put this? You may be sitting on the fence and you're just thinking that it might not be for you. I would just say go for it, because at the end of the day, you need to be putting things into action and really make a step in the right direction. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Don't hesitate. Just go for it. Take the big leap, right? Awesome. Thanks so much, James, and look forward to maintaining contact and hearing how you get on going forward. Thanks, mate.
No problem, Pete.